So the person who has provided us with their slides, one of the 8, is who I'm going to ask to go first. And that happens to be Beth. So Beth, take about 5 minutes. I'm going to move you can grab the microphone that I was using.
I don't need a mic.
No, you need the mic because we want to hear every morsel.
Bus duty, 500 kids, no mic, no problem. Hi. So my name's Beth Howard, and I started my business, Younger Through Yoga Plus, about 2 years ago with Don's help. He was my SCORE counselor, and so that's how we actually got to meet, which was awesome. If you want to clicky poo there. I use Facebook for my marketing. I am a small business, and I'm also a full-time high school teacher. So my day job is teaching high school, either depending on your age, home ec, or family consumer science. So it just depends on what age bracket you fall into as to what makes sense to you. But that's my full-time job, and opening my business has been a passion for me. Clicky poo, fabulous, thank you. Pew. So I use Facebook only, that's all I have. I use it because it's free. I use it because it's easy. But I will say it does take me probably close to at least 8 to 10 hours a week that I'm on it to set up all the posts and make sure that everything works, make sure all the links are live and everything else. So I sell tickets through it for my events because I do specialize in event yoga. And then I also recap events. The slide I don't think is actually, oh yes it is, it's working. So I will actually post videos of just slide clips, pictures of folks doing the events. So it's neat to see what happened at the thing and then to also promote it through Facebook. I have themed posts, which seem to get a lot of good response. So today's Mindful Monday post was actually me taking my own advice, which is something I really truly do. And I posted a picture of the morning sky and just taking a moment for calm and for quiet. And most of us don't have that during the day. So I got a ton this morning and all throughout the day, loves and likes and what great advice and things like that. So that's how I judge the successfulness of it, is what kind of reaction do I get? What kind of commentary do I get? How many shares do I get? And just various things like that. I also will guide people to my website. Hello. I also will guide folks, ooh, that's super echoey, to my website, and then I will highlight it, make sure everything's a hyperlink and that everything works. So I test it through there. You can see, that's a sample from my page itself. Still not going. Done. Okay, it's either me dying up here or this thing's dying up here. Is this thing on? Can you hear me now? So needless to say, mine is very simple. It is effective for me for what I'm doing as a small business, and it's free, which for a small business with zero budget for marketing, it rocks. I also can look at how many people have viewed a video, how many people have shared it and things like that. So that's really what I do for my social media. I'm not on Instagram right now. I'm not on Twitter. In the job that I have full time, this is what I honestly have time for. And since it's been effective for me to get my word out, I'm satisfied with it as it is. So there may be other slides scrolling by. And if not, I'm good.
Trying to get the computer to do what it's supposed to do, so just keep going.
Okay, so just to finish it up, I did have Don's email here with what questions you had. The big one for me was time and that it's free. And I did say how I measure success. I don't actually use anything else, and I would recommend asking folks who are successful. So I actually, since I never did Facebook, because I'm a school teacher and I don't do things that are public, I actually asked a friend who was very successful on Facebook herself. And I asked her to sit down with me, give me an hour of her time, which she did, which was fabulous. The SCORE mentors are also awesome, so I can't say enough about them because that was also free. So that's everything that I have. Tag, who's it? What? I think that's all the slides that were there, but
Thank you, Beth. We'll get the slides up now. So the other folks do not have slides, so go right ahead and introduce yourself for about 5 minutes or so, and then pass the microphone.
Hello, I'm Brynne Tillman. I specialize really deeply into leveraging LinkedIn for business development, which is really a B2B platform. How many of you are on LinkedIn? How many of you are wondering why you're on LinkedIn? So LinkedIn is an interesting animal, and it does a lot for you if you're selling. How many of you are B2B? So a lot of you are consumer, but if you're B2B, you have to be on LinkedIn. And the reason is that's where all the professionals are. And even if you're consumer, all those professionals are individuals. So you really want to consider. So here's a couple of things to consider if LinkedIn is really a place that you should invest some time. Number one, is my prospect or client on LinkedIn? If they are, we probably want to be there. Number two, are they active? Are they sharing? Right? And so that would be even more appropriate for you to be there. But just being on LinkedIn, it's like they say, if you build it, they will come. Not on LinkedIn. You've got to really be proactive. You really do. So here are a couple of, I was just going to offer a couple of tips. Number one, you've got to brand yourself on LinkedIn in a way that when your buyer shows up, that you've got them curious. So I like to say to convert, most of us have our LinkedIn set up like our resume, because most of us used or think of LinkedIn as a job tool. But it really is a business development tool if you want it to be. So if you switch your mindset from resume to resource, and we provide value with LinkedIn right from our profile, we'll start to attract and engage the right people to us. So we've got to position that profile from the client's perspective. What is it that would attract them in and that would interest them? And I like to look at, when I talk about resource, look at LinkedIn as a place for you to offer insights and educate your buyer to get them to want to have a conversation. Because at the end of the day, if we are using LinkedIn, if we're using any social media for business development, unless you are selling off the internet, and I know we have a couple people that do that, you need a phone call to close a deal. So unless you're selling something that they don't need to talk to you, then our goal needs to be to get more conversations with the right people. And we have to make sure that we're positioned to do that and we're attracting them. The next piece is we have to have content that feeds them, educating them on a continuous basis. Content doesn't mean you have to blog constantly. It could be a tip. It could be a video. Video is really big right now. I know Heidi owns a card shop. So if you did a little video of all the new football team or the baseball card team and you have that on video, people love that. That's going to get them excited, right? So you want to create content, but it doesn't have to be just a boring, for some people, blog. It could, some blogs are not boring. I don't think mine are, but you can do a lot of things with content, with video, with questions, with polls. Polls are a fun content. People love to take polls. There are a lot of free poll sites out there. So those are ways to start to engage people. The key is when we're putting content out there, and this is really the key, and this is that your content is not about your features, benefits, advantages. That you're not pitching, that you're attracting. So does anyone know the Challenger sale or CEB? So it's a study. I've all heard the stats that came out of it. 57% of the buying decision is done before vendors even know they're in the market. All those big stats came out of the study. But my favorite thing that came out of the study is that the vendor of choice is the vendor that educated the most. It's not the lowest price. It's not the friend. It's not I built a great relationship. It's about the vendor that educated the most. So keep that in mind when you're out in social, and I tend to be the LinkedIn person, but if you have groups on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you have groups on Google+, you want to attract them to you with education and insights. No matter what you do, I guarantee you've got some great your IP, your intellectual property, your great strategies and tips will definitely draw them in. So I'll be around if you have questions. Obviously, I'll be around if you have questions. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, but I hope that was helpful.
Hi there. My name is John Biancamano, and as Don said, I have a digital marketing company. But I'm not here to talk to you about that tonight because I have another business, which is an online e-commerce business, which I've started about a year ago. And I use social media more for that business than I do for my main business. But in just talking about my main business, I also help a lot of companies, small businesses, especially small retail businesses, use social media primarily through paid Facebook, either through ads or location-based services using Facebook. Why I'm really excited about the e-commerce business, because I've learned a lot over the last year in doing this. I knew enough about Facebook, but didn't really apply it to a business like this. But I went through various cycles. I started with putting the business online, and I did some Google shopping ads. And if you're not familiar with the Google shopping ads, those are the ads that come up with the pictures on top versus the Google text ads. I started doing that, got a lot of impressions, got several hundred impressions a week. Got a couple of click-throughs, and I've had a fairly decent click-through rate, and a decent click-through rate in shopping ads is about 1%. But I got no sales. And I realized that I really didn't know who my customer base was, okay? So that's when I took an approach. I said, I'm gonna take a look at what I can do with Facebook in order to really define who my customer base is. So the first thing I did with Facebook is I wanted to build up social proof. I had a new business, new Facebook page, didn't have a lot of followers, so what I did was I paid to get followers. From that, I understood who my audience was, and I started refining my target when I'm doing my Facebook ads. So when I started, it was costing me about 56 cents a like. When I finished after 2 months, initially after 2 months, it was costing me about 30 cents a like. So I refined I understood who my customers were. Now I can understand who to target and how to target them. So I've run a series of ads since then. Some were product ads, which honestly didn't do very well. And you have to understand, when you run a product ad in Facebook, it's not like running an ad in a pay-per-click ad with the search engines. When somebody does a search and they're looking for a particular product, they're in the mode of buying or at least finding out information about it. When you run a product ad in Facebook, they may or may not be interested. So I ran some product ads, didn't have a lot of success with them, but then started running some ads regarding content on my website, and that's when things really started to happen. People were clicking through to my website, they liked what I had to say, and I got some sales from that, and it's really interesting. So I'm also, quite by accident, I have a partner in this business, and quite by accident, he had a couple of older YouTube videos that he did for the business. And we get a significant amount of sales through YouTube. As a matter of fact, we're starting a campaign next year, and why next year is because my business runs in cycles. The upcycle starts in March and ends in September, October. I import high-end European bike saddles and other cycling accessories. So we've gotten a lot of business from YouTube, excuse me. So we're going to now start to put a couple of different videos together. We had nothing in-house. We didn't expect that this would be a good channel for us, but it turns out it is. So we're going to be using YouTube starting at the beginning of next year to actually promote the business a little bit more. The other thing that we used on the e-commerce business is I know how well Pinterest does with e-commerce businesses and how well it ranks in the search engines. So just kind of out of the blue, I put up a Pinterest page, didn't do anything to optimize my pins, didn't make it look good, didn't promote it. Turned out that we actually got the first sale from one of our best, or one of our most expensive European saddles through Pinterest because it ranked so well. Somebody had actually pinned it to their board, it got noticed, it came up in position 4 or 5 when someone did a search on racing saddles. It came up in position 4 or 5 on page 1, and we got the sale through that. And it was purely by accident that we did that. So we're going to start doing a little bit more of Pinterest coming the following year, because it does sell. What I found out, and what a lot of people will tell you is that because pins last a long time versus, say, a Twitter feed or a Facebook feed, people use Pinterest for evaluating products before they'll go online to shop. Shopify did a study on this about 1.5 years ago, and you can look it up and find the results. But I think it was really very interesting. And then the other thing I said is I help a lot of small businesses, a lot of retail businesses use social media. Primarily they're on Facebook. Most of them don't do it right. They think because they're on Facebook, because everybody's on Facebook, they have to be on Facebook. They don't do it right. And I try to transition them either, if in the free space, to try and do something a little bit different than they're doing, or primarily in the advertising space, because Facebook advertising is not very expensive, and you can reach a lot of local potential customers that way. So I transition them over to Facebook ads, either direct ads or location-based marketing ads, using check-in or some of the geo-targeting capabilities in Facebook. So, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Thru.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Thru Rigler. I am the owner of Infinity Digital. We are a full-service digital marketing agency in Feasterville. And what that means is we do custom-crafted campaigns in the digital marketing arena that match a business's needs. So everything from search engine optimization, pay-per-click, social media, web design, branding and graphic design. We do a lot of everything else, too. Basically, whatever the client needs to succeed online, we do. I'm not going to talk directly about the clients. We have a lot of fun things we do for our clients. What I am going to talk about is what we do for us, because we are, as John said, you look at trying to establish your social media as an agency because it is what you do as a service, so you want to be good at it. So our SEO works great. We rank very highly. When you do a Google search organically, we usually place around the top in this area in Bucks County. So we're proud of that. Social media is something we've always done as a way to validate us. So I always look at, if you look at a company online, you're looking for validation factors. If you have a website, there are things like 25 years in business, Better Business Bureau, certifications and awards. But as a company that's trying to practice what you preach, and we had a conversation about that, a lot of times practicing what you preach is easier said than done. So if you look at the internet, there are 2.8 billion people using social media. That's a lot of people. That number is as of 2016. So I'm sorry, that's actually as of February 2017, I apologize. That's a lot of people trying to reach. So how do you do that? Social media is a great way. Read a great article a couple weeks back about equating the social media boom right now to the SEO boom of the early 2000s. SEO was the bread and butter. Everybody needed search and optimization, your website optimized. I got to rank, I need my keywords, I need this. And that has gotten a lot harder. We focus a lot on local SEO. And if anybody's familiar with local SEO, it's cutthroat, it's highly competitive, and there's a lot less space to do so in. So social media now is a great venue for businesses to really stand out. And this boom now that you're coming into is really that. It's at that high level. Recent numbers I just saw. As of 3 years ago, 24% of businesses out there saw monetization from their social media. As of this year, 74% of those businesses are now seeing monetization from their social media platforms. So now it's not, should I do it or can I look at it as an ancillary product? It's you should be doing social media. Social media is a great way to build your brand. And looking at which social media platforms work best, it's your industry. It depends on every business. We work with every platform. We use every platform completely differently. We do use Facebook primarily as a best way, as a validation factor, primarily because we are an industry where most of our businesses are, they skew older. Old business owners are older, say 30 and up, so they tend to be more comfortable with Facebook. It has a great demographic in that range, everywhere from youth up until, I know I've seen grandparents on there engaging and using it, which if you go back 20 years ago, they weren't accepting technology at the level they are. So that acceptance is much better. The mobile, cell phones, tablets, everything else make it so much easier to see that information, to reach that audience. So, and I'm just going to give you our experience, where we built the likes and the fans, and we don't get, and the best way to say it is, we'll get our leads organically through pay-per-click, through search and optimization, through networking events, many different ways. What converts us is our brand, our face behind the brand. How many of you have seen posts where they're constantly selling, and you finally turn it off? You stop looking at it. Raise of hands who get tired of that? Probably everybody. So what we've learned, and I've run different agencies, different levels of campaigns, and what I found that works best for us, again, is going back to building the human face behind the brand. If you're a company, I want to know more about your people, about you. Jenny is celebrating her 20th anniversary today with her husband. Here's a photo of her in the office. Husband sent her flowers. You're going to engage that. Here's Dr. Smith's 2-year anniversary here at the practice. You're going to engage that. You're going to want to know who you're coming to, who you're seeing, what you're doing. We do the same thing. We celebrate national days. We take the National Day calendar. It's a site, nationaldaycalendar.com, and we go there and we see what's fun, what's interesting. National Cheeseburger Today. Today was National Cheeseburger Today. Anybody have a cheeseburger? I did, because we did at the office. So today is National Cheeseburger Day. We also celebrate National Soft Pretzel Day, National Chocolate Cake Day, whatever it is, which is great because soft pretzel is actually the shape of the infinity, which is our logo, so we play with that too. Point is, that human factor behind everything that we do builds us as a credible brand. We're going to take time to show you who we are, what we do. Come into our office. We have offices. We invite you in there for our meetings. We're going to invite you in there in social media. We're going to show you videos, photos, whatever it is, and have fun here's our staff. We did National Taco Day, and I brought in a little portable stove, and I videoed and photoed the team cooking up and making tacos. And it was fun. It was interesting. It was different. They saw that human element. And for us, that works great. For a lot of our brands, it does too, because we feel like my motto or my practice is I'm gonna show you the human, the brand, everybody behind it 9 times, then I'll tell you my special the 10th. I'm gonna get more engagement from that 10th post than I would have if I did 10 posts or 9 posts trying to sell you and 1 trying to show you my brand. As I've seen the evolution. You know, we're really popular on MySpace. I'm just kidding. And Google Plus, just kidding. But actually going back to anybody, business owners here, are you utilizing Google My Business? Raise your hands. Great. Anybody familiar with the Google Posts on My Business? We've been utilizing that. There's Google Posts. You can do the posts on your Google My Business page. It's got to be around 200 characters or so. But we've used that to do sales pitches. We've used that for just regular small microblog posts, microblogging almost. 200 words, I'm sorry if I said 200 characters. We've seen great engagement with that because it's showing up. There's new things that are showing up in your Google My Business listings, videos coming to that, the posts. So anything you can do to share your service, to share your company, let them know. You know, if you're, like we have a dental practice we work with, and I'm trying not to talk too much about clients, but we show them the office. Dentists people are scared of that because they're usually going there, you're gonna get a high bill and a lot of pain. So nobody wants to see that. So we try to, again, show the human element. The doctors we work with, they're funny, they're happy, they have big photos of their heads blown up on the wall, so we can be light and fun. So it goes that I'm leading into that, build a personality online. That's a great, as you're building your brand, you're building your personality. Showing who you are. What's that? Time? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So, I can run on. Don knows I've done a few of these before. I can also talk very fast too.
So let me know when you get the 5 minutes.
Sure.
That was a joke.
So anyway, so the one number thing before I jump off here is like, you know, so the questions are great. These are amazing questions. I love seeing informed questions. And I can say is, you know, look and see what platform works best for you. There's obviously the top 3. There's 4, I should say. You know, your Facebook's always a great thing to have. Your Twitter is there still kicking, believe it or not. It has its benefits, and it has, you know, how much time should you spend? It basically depends how much time you want to put into it. I know we're not here to sell services, and that's great. I think everybody should at least try to do what they can on their own to help understand you understand your business much better than when we meet with a client. We do a first meeting. We just try to get to know you to see if we want to work with you, see if you want to work with us. If I don't know your business, your brand, your company, your people behind it, how can I post on social media for you? So you really know your business, and you really should invest in that. But as you're posting, and then we go through all the different things I've mentioned, posts with the number, this is a great number I'll leave you with, posts with engaging content, such as photos, videos, infographics, things of that sort, besides just putting words and hashtags. They have a conversion rate, an engagement rate of 40 times higher. So if I'm just posting, having a great day, come and check out our 10% service, and that's it, it's just text and a hashtag. Well, if I were to put up a nice little photo of a coupon, or maybe a photo of the actual product, or a great little 10-second video, I'm gonna get 40 times more engagement. So that's what you're looking at. If anybody accesses Facebook on their phone, anybody ever access Facebook on their phone? Sure, everybody has. I'm not participatory. I'm sure you'll see your feeds probably 90% video And that's where we're at with technology. Technology is amazing with the compression. I can deliver high quality video right over a phone sitting here. We're streaming video here as we were today. So, you know, if you're not doing those kind of things, you're not, and that's where we see our future with what we're doing is we have a photo and video studio in the office. We converted a room to a full green screen, video, camera, everything, lights set up, because that's the future. We've been doing it. We just finally are you know, doing it more on our own. Best I can say is do what feels best for you. Know your audience, know your customer, know where they're engaging. You know, if your broad audience is 40 to 60, don't go on Snapchat. You're going to waste your time because they're not on Snapchat. But if your audience is the millennials and you're focusing on Twitter, they've abandoned that. Facebook, they're abandoning that for the most part. So the best is research, know your audience, know who's using what, demographics, like John said, with when you're doing Facebook advertising, the amount of the analytics you get back from that, from knowing your geographic, your demographic, your age. You can go on there and pick 18 to 34-year-old, college educated moms, 2 kids, soccer moms, whatever you want. I mean, you can really craft your audience to your ads to your audience. And the best I can say is just inform. Do a lot of research. Follow the influencers. We are getting into social media influencing. It's a thing we're going to be announcing. Shortly, we're working with a partnership with a company over in Jersey that does social media influencing. I think that's another great way to look at your business and be your own influencer. All right, that's my time. Thank you, and enjoy the presentation.
Thanks, Thru. Tim, there should be a mic in front of you there. Oh, there you go.
Oh, use that. Switching mics. Good evening, everybody. My name is Tim Rosanelli. I own a karate school, Maximum Impact Karate. I currently have about 200 karate students. I do use social media extensively for my students. I originally started social media on YouTube. My main platforms are YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And I started YouTube back in about 2007 was when I put up my first video. And now I currently have 17,000 subscribers on YouTube, 13 million views. And it was just, basically I started YouTube as a repository for, you know, student things that I wanted my students to learn. I found out a lot of other people are watching it. And, you know, I continue to this day to do videos on YouTube for my students and the general public. It's kind of cool getting a W-2 from Google too. It's kind of cool. Then from there, I kind of went on to other things. So all my marketing, I always do 4 things. It's like, pay, okay, stay, and refer. So I do a lot of posts on Facebook and Instagram to kind of warm up my audience so that they start to like you, okay? Because people purchase off of people they like. They're going to be coming to me to teach their kids martial arts. So they want to make sure I'm not a jerk. You know, they want to know that I'm a good person and that I'm going to be teaching them the things that I say I'm going to teach them before they sign up. I do paid advertisement too. A lot of people have a lot of questions about paid advertisement. I do pay a company to give me ads and things like that. So I kind of warm people up with my own stuff. And then every once in a while, you know, I have an actual ad up for people to go to my website and purchase. Stay. That was the main thing. When I first started social media, I saw a huge opportunity, not for sales, but for student retention. So a lot of my social media marketing is directly at my students. We'll do live videos for live events. I use YouTube Live, I use Instagram Live, and I use Facebook Live, and I use them all for different purposes. Mainly Facebook Live, I like to use on our closed groups. Closed groups are for our students. You know, in the old days, you used to have a website, a student section of your website. Well, I use our closed group as our student section that I have all the parents and any of the students that want to go on there, they can go into our closed group. It also gives me a way to do videos and live feeds to parents so that they, it's private for their privacy and everything. And it's pretty cool. You know, I do things like a belt ceremony and maybe only one parent can come, but both can watch. And this is just a way that we try to build retention. I use Instagram Live a lot for our students. We'll go in class, we'll be doing a live feed of our classes. A lot of the parents in the lobby that can't quite see into the room will be logging on and watching their kids take the class. We also have, a lot of the kids will be at home, and a lot of the younger kids, the teenagers and stuff, they'll go on there and they'll start talking to you while you're, on the live feed. Obviously, I'm not teaching classes. I'm doing this. I have an instructor that's doing that for me. We use the closed groups extensively for, videos and pictures, and we also do a lot of pictures on Instagram. Oh, we also, Instagram stories. The story section, we like to post little videos and clips like that, for people to see. And we also do that a lot on Facebook too. So that's kind of how we use it. The last part is refer. You can also use social media a lot to get people to refer new students for you. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for listening, guys.
Thanks, Tim. Marcia.
Well, hello, everybody. Hi. My name is Marcia Pearson, and I know about about a quarter of the room, and so you know me. I started working with online media about 10 years ago. I cut my teeth primarily with website development and then moved into teaching email marketing and social media. So all I've ever done is taught email marketing and social media, and it's still what I do to this day. Lately, I've had some boot camps this past year, and I'll have another one eventually coming up. What I've found is through 10 years of teaching email marketing and social media is that most people don't do it. Or if they do it, they don't do it very well because they don't know how to do it so that it's actually making money. So you can have all the people who like you on Facebook that you want, but if not one of them ever buys anything from you, what does that mean? You're really just taking time doing something that's not really optimizing your business at all. My goal now is to make a promise to everybody that I meet, and that is I'll spend 45 minutes with anybody and find another $10,000 in their marketing revenue. $10,000 you can get right out of your business just by marketing without spending any more money. And I think that really speaks to people a little bit better because now you're coming away with something that's actually going to get you money for your marketing. So your marketing, instead of looking like something you pay out for, becomes something that's an investment in your business because it earns you money.
Can you give us a specific example of that without naming the customer?
Well, let's see a specific example of that. Well, yeah. If you have, rather than a website, if you set up a nice page that we call a lead page or a squeeze page, let's say you're a chiropractor. Do we have any chiropractors? No, okay. Well, you probably know someone, so in case you do. On his website, he likely talks about all the things that he does for people. He can fix their backs, and he can fix their knees, and can fix their necks, and he can fix people with fibromyalgia, and he can fix people who have all kinds of problems. But what if he just takes one of those things? Now, here we're talking about many target markets. So when we talk about our target market, sometimes I'll ask somebody and they'll go, oh, my target market is everyone. Well, yeah, maybe it is, but let's try and break that down into the little target. So if we take our chiropractor, a little target might be someone with fibromyalgia. So you could set up a page that was specifically targeting people with fibromyalgia so that it has a headline that interrupts that person and says, are you suffering from this pain? It engages the person by saying, we have some simple solutions that can help. It educates by giving them a video or some more written information, and it gives them an opportunity to download a guide or something like that, or a white paper or some kind of information with those tips that are going to help them that they can take home with them. The monetary consideration for the person who has that problem is their email address. That's what they're going to give up to get the information they want. Because when we talk about marketing, a lot of us now are doing what's called now marketing, or we're looking at the now buyers. Well, P.S., only about 1% of the people who are out there are now buyers. The other 99% are looking around. That person with fibromyalgia, as bad as it might be, they're not just going to call this number on a website today, because they're not going to call someone they don't know. But if they can download some information and think about it and consider it, now you're more likely to get a good client. The other part of that marketing, though, isn't just stopping there. It's making sure that when that person calls your office, that there's a proper script written so that the person at the other end of the line knows what to say. And all those things tied together are the things that make an increase in what you do. A chiropractor who did this saw an increase in leads of 300 additional leads just through that lead page. It was a real lead page for a real chiropractor. He got 30 additional clients in month 1. So those kinds of things will work, but you have to follow through with the whole package. And that's what I do now, is I want to look at people's whole marketing package so that I'm sure that they're doing things that tie together in the right way so that they actually make money from their marketing, including social media, and making that part of the mix. Thank you very much.
Marcia. Shana.
Hello, everyone. My name's Shana Steigerwalt, and I'm the owner of Modern Driven Media. We're a digital marketing agency, but we have a social-first perspective. So we started off specifically as a social media agency, from organic content to paid advertisements to influencer marketing, but we've been able to expand our services over the past 3 years to really have an integrated approach to digital marketing. But with that being said, a very social-specific mindset. We work with clients in the software industry, in hospitality, and in automotive. So we're really visible on a multitude of platforms. It's really important for us to continually educate and provide value to our customers so that way they understand what's going on the internet and what is best for their audience. So with the software industry, we're very visible on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Automotive, on Facebook. Hospitality, we're actually very visible on Snapchat, whether that's throwing Snapchat filters over their locations just to start conversations. What's most important, though, not necessarily how I reach my clients, but how you reach your clients. It's just about being visible where your audience is. So it's taking time to do the research, understanding, what the decision makers are and where they are. So if you're listening to your audience, if you're where they're at, and if you're always providing value, that's really what we utilize our social platforms for, is to provide value. So, thank you to everyone who asked questions earlier, because this is actually the content that we want to put out for our audience. We want to make sure we educate. Really, it's a partnership with all of our prospects and all of our opportunities. So if they feel comfortable with us, then they're more willing to work with us. So social media really gives us that visibility and that opportunity to start conversations, but more importantly, build relationships that are going to be beneficial to both parties. More so than that, I think another very specific area that a lot of people get lost in on social media is they don't have business objectives aligned with what social media can do for them. One of the things that we focus on specifically with Facebook advertising is lead generation. So making sure that we have a very specific message targeted to a specific audience. But if you don't understand where your business objectives lie on social media, that's your first problem, because you're shooting at a blank target. If you are really looking to build a bigger community around your current audience base, you're going to speak to that audience different than if you're trying to intrigue new customers. Understanding what it is that you're doing, what you're getting out of it, and how your business will succeed because of it is very, very important. And I think that's the first step to being successful on social media. Outside of modern-driven media, I'm also considered an influencer, and I have the opportunity to actually get paid for my influence that I have on social media. This is something a little bit outside of it, but there's a lot of opportunities with influencer marketing specifically, because social media is all about the relationships that you have. And if you are able to align yourself with people that already trust your brand, that know your brand, and that are willing to share more information about your brand, really look at those people who are active on social media and that are willing to push your business for you. It's a great way to build relationships, to strengthen relationships, but also just build a lot of rapport with a new audience that you know you have opportunities to with the people that you're reaching out to.
How does an influencer work? How does that process work?
It really depends. It's very customized to everyone. So, you know, specifically for me, I work with a lot of different music events. So companies that host music events, I'm very active in the music community. So they reach out to me knowing that I have a large following within, you know, their client base. They either give me free tickets or they pay me some type of monetary value to share about an upcoming event and share all about my experiences. This is really a big opportunity that we've specifically helped a lot of our client base, because if businesses can talk on and on and on about themselves, but you're more willing to trust what your friends say, what your family says, and then make a decision based on them.
Do you notify the reader that you are paid to reach out to them?
Yes.
Okay, so the reader's not misled in the sense that you're a paid spokesperson.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things about that. I'm more than happy to speak to anybody if they have questions on that. But there's a lot of different ways that you're able to use that influencer community. A lot of times it's just simply reaching out to your best customers and asking, you know, what more can we do together to, you know, make this beneficial for both of us. So there's a lot of opportunity with that. It's very, very, very specific to each company and each organization. So same thing with your social strategy. So as long as you're, one, providing value and putting your audience first, remember it's not about you when it comes to social media, it's about who you're speaking to. So if you can keep that at the top of your mind, align them with your business goals, then that's the first step to being successful on social media.
Thank you very much, Shana. Stephanie?
Last but not least, I am Steph Sides. I am Social Chicky, and I am a social media strategist and coach. So I work with businesses of all different sizes, and I teach them how to strategically plan and do all of the great advice that this whole panel has given you tonight. Ironically, I have not built my business through social media, at least not in the sense that we're all talking about tonight. The way I have built my business is through old-fashioned socialization called networking. Every single one of my clients I have met through a group, networking group, business event, somewhere in person. I got to know them. I got to know their business. I got to find out what their needs are, what their problems, their pain points, what their frustration with social media is. And it's all of that relationship and that information that I got from people that really has developed into the services and products that I have for my business. And what I have done is I take these relationships from offline, online. Most of my business is done on Facebook. That's where my audience, the majority of my audience is. We've been talking about audience, knowing your audience and where they are all of the time. I use Twitter basically for media relations more than anything. LinkedIn, I connect with people the right way. Talk to Brynne about how to do that, because you're probably doing it wrong. And I build those corporate relationships that I need to on LinkedIn, again, the right way, from people that I meet in person. What's really cool is getting all that feedback from everybody, like I said, has really developed the services that I have. So I find that most businesses are so overwhelmed and confused about social media. They're like, I need to be everywhere. I don't want to be anywhere. I don't know what that Snap, chat thing, Gram thing is. I don't know. And I say, well, only be where your audience needs to be, and then learn that and get to know them there. Build your business there. And it's, you know, again, addressing their pain points. What can you do for them? It's not about you. It's about them. It's with them. What's in it for them? So I do this really in-depth digital analysis for people that looks at their whole digital marketing and even their offline marketing, because I have like a whole pre-internet marketing experience behind me, to see what they're doing right, what they can improve on, where they need to go, what goals they need to set, how it relates to business goals that they have set, what are their financial goals, what are they capable of doing. And that really sets the tone for what they need to do and where they need to go. And I got all of that because I talked to people and I had coffee. I drank a lot of coffee in the past couple of years. But that's what people want. And so then when they follow my page on Facebook and they connect with me on LinkedIn or they follow me on Twitter, what am I doing on social media with those people? I am educating them. I'm giving them valuable information. I'm saying, hey, you know what? Facebook changed it again. Here's why your feed looks different. And this is how you do this on LinkedIn now, because yesterday you did it differently. I'll see something that they're in and I'll share articles and information, say, hey, I thought of you. You might be interested in this. Or I watch what they're doing. I comment on their successes, on their achievements. Sometimes I see what they're doing wrong. A person that I connected with, she's not actually a client. She put out a sales flyer for a magazine, and she put in there that for $75, we'll promote you on our Facebook page, and we'll do an ad for you like on Facebook. And I'm like, you can't sell Facebook to Facebook, it's free. You gotta like include that in something else. You cannot charge people to be on Facebook. And she was like, oh my God, thank you. Literally within 10 seconds of her putting it out there, I made that notice. She changed it and was like, oh, thank God. I'm like, yeah, don't go to Facebook jail. It's not a good place. So it's things like that. So now, that's how people are relating to me and my business, because of that information. And we've all talked about it, that education, being real, reaching out, being personable, celebrating their successes, helping them out. I get reached out all the time, either by Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn Messenger, email, my text going, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me with this? Or I'm going to post this, but how do I do that? How do I help a client of mine do this on their social? Different things like that. So I'm always there and available. So everything that everybody has said here is all really great stuff. I know you guys have a lot of questions. My answer to all your questions is, it depends. I know that's very helpful, but really it's about being real and being of value and really knowing your customer base. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Steph. Before we begin with the questions, you guys may or may not have known this, but because this is a social media event, I took advantage of our panel and asked each one of them to notify their contact base by whatever methodology they had, whether it was email or Facebook or whatever. And we did our own marketing, myself, and of course all of our advisors were asked to do the same thing. So what I'd like to do is ask, as a show of hands, as a demonstration of how all the social media works, I'm going to ask, just show of hands, how many people learned about this event, but don't raise your hands yet, by email, and then by Facebook, and then by Twitter, and whatever else, LinkedIn, don't forget LinkedIn. And then let's just get a sense of how this audience learned about this meetup. So, show of hands. And Greg, you're gonna try to catch this here? Show of hands, how many people learned about this meeting by email? 80%? Okay, how many people learned about it from Facebook? 5 or so hands, 6? Okay, that was Lynn. Okay, Lynn. How about Twitter? Anybody here from Twitter? How about, was that a hand? Meetup, okay. Meetup? Oh, I guess everybody, okay. And how about LinkedIn? 1, 2. Yeah, you can raise your hand more than once. Did I miss anything? No, you're with Lynn, okay, so referral. Any other channel? Okay. Networking, yes, exactly. Networking, okay. So by far, it's email. My friend Marsha will talk about that. Okay, so yeah, hello is right. All right, I'm going to start the Slido questions now. So the panel will see the questions on their little monitor, and you all will see the questions, hopefully, up on the big screen. Okay, so the questions are in the order they were asked, and the last question is, the last one that was asked is at the bottom. So Anonymous said, what is the best social media platform to promote an online clothing store? Who would like to take that one? Shana? Who asked that question? Online clothing store?
Is this on?
Anonymous. I know it's anonymous, but I thought you'd want to notify us. Okay, Shana, go ahead.
So I worked heavily with a boutique for 2 years in the Doylestown area, and we had a lot of success depending on, wait, who said that they asked this? Did anybody own up to it? Depending on who your market is. For this market, it was specifically women's apparel. So it was anywhere from the 18-year-old all the way up to 45, but it was that transitional where it looked professional, but it was still trendy. We had a lot of success on Facebook to drive traffic to their online store and really convert people into paying customers. Instagram, we had a lot of success with just engagement, but not only did we use Instagram to post images of new fashion trends, it wasn't just showcasing the styles, but where you could use the styles, so putting them into everyday situations. It's starting to get chillier out, so how you compare some of the new apparel with the summer clothes that you've been buying all through the summer. We had a lot of success with Instagram stories, so using Instagram stories rather than trying to build up so much content that you really stage out. It's really tough in a retail location where new shipments are coming in all the time. Using Instagram story to showcase the new shipments as they come in and as you're putting them up on the racks. We also had some fun with Snapchat because they had a younger demographic as well. So we would use it as an opportunity to engage our audience. They would send us what their weekend plans were. We'd put together a little mock outfit that was in the store, send it to them, and then they had something to base their style off of. So you can get really creative with it. Again, this was for a women's apparel. But depending on what your market is, that's really where you're going to be. And Pinterest was also a great opportunity to showcase styles as well.
So would it be different for men versus women, a child versus teen versus the next 2 or 3 levels?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think age demographic has a big influence when it comes to fashion on what platforms will do best. But specifically with this, Facebook advertising and Instagram advertising helped us really convert people that were followers into paying customers at a very reasonable price.
Thank you, Shana. Brynne?
Let's see. So although I'm not typically a Facebook person for business, I have seen some very successful contests and things that are visual. So if you are shipping, if you can put in a little card that says, take a picture of yourself and put it on Facebook, at the end of the month, and tag us, at the end of the month, we're gonna have a giveaway for the person that had the most likes, right? So if you can get your buyer to engage and let them amplify your message, if you have a visual business, it's a really good way to do that. So how many of you have some kind of visual business? If they buy something from you, they can take a picture of it, right? So you want to get the most of your network, of your clients, and get them to get their audience and their network to see and draw traffic back to the page. You also want to make sure that you have, if you have a group, an open group where they can post all of this, that you have some kind of way to collect information like a Facebook landing page. So if you want to learn more information or get on the mailing list or get to our website, make it really simple to collect their data, ask them for information to give them something, whether it's a white paper or very similar to the landing page that Marcia talked about. Facebook has the ability to do that in company pages and groups and things. So again, I'm not really like the prime Facebook person to do this. If you wanted it done, don't talk to me about it. Like, that's to talk to staff. But I've seen it really be successful, especially if you know anyone with hair salons, because that's really localized, and they get a picture, they do before and afters, and they get that out, and so lots of fun things. So I just want to share that.
Thank you, Marcia. Hold the applause because we got a lot of questions. Who would like to answer the question, where's Waldo? Okay. That was an important question. Okay. Next one, Anonymous.
He's right behind the ticket booth. It's also red and white striped, so right behind, just to the left.
Next time, I'll remember not to invite you. Thanks, Drew. So we got echo again. How the hell did that happen? Okay, Anonymous asks, which social media outlet are best suitable for real estate, such as promoting properties for sale? Now, if Cindy didn't ask that question, she is the expert at answering it. Would you like to do that? Grab a mic up front and introduce yourself.
I like this one, it's tied. My name is Cindy Dumeyer, and I've been doing internet marketing for real estate investors and gurus all over the United States. My daughter Bobby works with me, and that's what we do. So, if you have a property for sale and you want to market it, use all of them. What I do, if it's a, I'm sorry, Brynne, I didn't mean to stand in front of you. No, if I, it's a really cute shirt. Thank you. You like that? Yeah, thanks. Yeah. No, anyway, I know, hey, contest. Anyway, if you have a high-end home, let's say it's a $2 million home or a $1 million home, one of the best places to advertise is LinkedIn. Let's say I have a home in Washington State. I'll look and see who my client is. I'll join either the university or group, whoever I think would purchase this home, and would advertise the home on LinkedIn. If it's local home, and we do it all the time, we use Facebook a lot. If I have a house that I want to sell, I can easily get 109, 110 leads a day if it's done right. Twitter, another one. Snapchat, we've done that. I mean, any one of these ways you can use. But the key thing is to target your market and figure out who's going to buy this house and where they're going to be. You're not going to find an 18-year-old child. So, you've got to really decide who your buyer is. But you use all these methods. And as I said, each business is different. And real estate's the same way. You have different people buying. So it's a different business. Make sense? Okay.
Thank you, Cindy. If anybody's, I don't know who asked that question. I'm going to speculate it's you. Yeah, go ahead.
Just really quickly. Any photo.
Grab a mic, please.
Sorry. Any photo that you put up, name it with keywords and search engine optimized words, right? So if you have a picture of that house, put the city and the state and even the dollar amount. Think about what is it that that person is going to Google? What are the terms they're going to look for when they're looking for property in that town? And make sure every single image is search engine optimized. And before you even put up that image, pull it into PowerPoint, put your contact information on the bottom of the image, let them know that it's for sale, so when the image comes up, house for sale, contact for more information. Because think about it, when you're looking for a property, how much time do we spend Googling? Like, we're Googling. That's what we're doing even when we're in the fantasy state, right? Where we're looking for stuff. And because images are so under search engine optimized, there's a very high chance that those photos will start coming up. So, just sharing.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. How crucial is it to have a LinkedIn page for your business? And is there a cost involved? Does anybody have the answer to that question?
Okay, I feel bad.
Go ahead, Brynne.
How crucial is the LinkedIn
Use the microphone,
page?
please.
Just so I can, how crucial is it to have a LinkedIn page for your business? So I will start, well, we're being recorded, so I have to be really, really good to LinkedIn because they're really good to me. So the LinkedIn page is not there yet. You should have a presence. You should build it up because when people visit it, it should be branded. It should have the information. If you have content to share, share it, and then let it go. There is a whole team at LinkedIn that is working right now on improving both groups, 2 teams, one for groups and one for company pages. Both are not, that's not the strength of LinkedIn at this time, but have a presence. Just don't spend a lot of time on it.
Does that answer the question of Anonymous? Whoever Anonymous was? Okay.
Either two, here.
Was that your question? Oh, do you have another question? Okay,
Yeah, I will answer. So what was,
come to the microphone,
I have two
please.
questions, so go ahead.
Please come to the microphone. Please come to, sir? Could you, Rich,
I'm sorry.
come to the microphone, please?
Just say it really loud. I'll repeat it. What's the question?
Yeah, I would find out when you're going to post something, whatever, Instagram or whatever, does that automatically search engine optimize it when you're ready to
So Google is amazing at indexing
Please repeat the question. Sorry.
stuff.
Repeat the question.
The question, oh yeah, I said I'd repeat it and then I didn't. So he asked if you're putting up pictures on Instagram and all the other places, should you do that search engine optimization for photos? Yes. Google indexes everything, right? And they're looking at everything. So absolutely anytime you have any image, including your image on LinkedIn or Facebook, if you want to put like real estate investor instead of your name or, photo 1372 or image 137, put Philadelphia real estate investor, so that when that gets Googled, your face, your image is coming up. So you want to really look at that. I had another question about free and paid. I don't know if I should answer that now. Or...
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, so there's a question about free or paid LinkedIn. So to me, Sales Navigator is the most powerful sales tool on the planet, but if you're not maximizing the free, don't pay yet. So the question was, should I pay on LinkedIn or not? If you have a plan in place and you follow it, the paid Sales Navigator is incredible. But don't just do that and think it's not pixie dust just because you buy it. It's like a gym membership. Like if you don't, you buy it, you don't show up, it's not going to do you any good, right? You just pay every month. So you have to make sure that you've got a plan in place.
And
I'm not going to talk anymore. I feel really bad.
And I'm going to show you next month how you can extract email addresses from contacts in LinkedIn, which, by the way, is a very powerful tool. We'll get to that next month.
I'll have to be here for that.
Next question from Cindy. I assume that's you, Cindy. How much time should I spend a day on Facebook? Who has a view on that?
I told you, it depends. So to do social media effectively, it has to be part of your process. It has to be part of your system. You can't just throw it out there occasionally and expect anything to stick and anything to work. So it has to be part of your daily process. Whether you spend an hour in the morning or an hour in the evening, it has to be intentional, and set a timer so that you don't get into that Facebook suck and seeing what everybody else is doing. Like, have a goal as to what you need to do when you're on there. And this is for any social media platform. Get in, do what you need to do, engage with your followers, look at your data, do your posts, and then get out. You have to be disciplined in doing it time-wise and make it efficient. But if you build it into another, you have to pay your invoices, you have to do your social media. There's no difference. So I just hope that, it would rank higher than paying bills in your to-do list. But it all comes back to you. You just have to be disciplined and do it at the right time and stay focused on that.
So Tim and Beth use it almost exclusively. How much time a day do each of you guys spend on Facebook? And what kind of results do you get?
Well, it's actually kind of funny that you mentioned that. I was thinking about that. Mine is very routine because I get up early in the morning because I teach high school, which starts really early in the morning, which I love. And so I check in the morning. All of my posts, the slide didn't show, but that's okay. I actually have Facebook data that shows me what time my people who like my page and like my posts and everything else, what time are they reading it? So I make sure all of my posts are always scheduled for 6 a.m. I come downstairs, I turn on my phone. I know, oh my God, I actually turned my phone off. What? So I turn on my phone when I get back downstairs. This is why I sleep well. And then I immediately share it to my personal page. Here's the catch though for me. So I'm doing this, my business is after my full-time job, which means I cannot promote my business during the day. I can't double dip. So my schedule has to be in the morning before I leave for school. Once school time has started, I'm cut off. And pretty much everybody who knows me knows that, and they've accepted the fact that I cannot respond to them during the school day. So that's a little bit of an extra challenge for me. Soon as my school day is technically over and I'm off the clock, I check it again after school, and then I check it again one more time before I go to bed and shut my phone off. So
Wouldn't you use a HubSpot or something like that to schedule your posts?
if I'm on the clock as a teacher, I am not allowed to double dip and do anything regardless of the fact. Oh, I can schedule them. Yes, I could schedule them at different times, but I can't communicate with people like that. I don't use, obviously, my school equipment. I would only ever use my cell phone or my laptop for my business. I would never use school equipment because that's also a big fat no-no. And so that's a learning curve issue time-wise. You have to, schedule is absolutely critical. Mine, I prefer to not even deal with it because of the fact that if it goes out during the school day, I'm guilty. So I actually have nothing go out during the school day, and I don't respond to anything during the school day.
And is that before or after your push-ups in the morning?
That's after my push-ups.
Oh, okay, thank you. Tim, how much time a day do you spend?
You know, that's a hard question. I would say one thing is it depends on if I get sucked into the regular feed. So you got to be really careful that you go right in and do what you need to do. Usually in the morning, I'll put up a post. Whether, see, I have multiple posts going on. I have posts that are on my regular business page. I usually have announcements and things like that going on in my closed group. So I would say, and then I also have ads that I'm posting as sales ads. I would say in the morning, maybe half hour. But then, you know, I have a lot of parents that actually contact me through Facebook asking questions, you know, whether it's class schedule, what are we doing tonight? So if you put all that in, it's quite a bit more. I almost use Facebook to talk to my parents and stuff more than I would even email because unfortunately they know I have my phone on me all the time, and I tend to answer really quick when they have questions on Facebook because a little chat head pops up on my phone. At night, during classes, you know, we could be posting pictures, either myself or one of my staff members are posting pictures on Instagram, doing live, you know, live feeds and things like that. So, but I always say that's part of the class anyway. I'm going to be teaching the class, so it might as well be part of it. So I do quite a bit of time on there. Anybody else?
And what would you say, what kind of results do you get, would you say, from the time you spend?
Results, well, you know, when you're talking about results, and this is something you have to be really careful with because, you know, if I do a sale, you know, a Facebook ad, and the engagement I normally get, post engagement, is usually under $1. I guess I didn't tell people. I usually spend about $150 to $300 a month on advertising on Facebook. And one thing I'm really careful with is getting too much into the numbers because once I used to have a phone, you know, send out mailers a long time ago, and they cost pretty much a lot of money, and I used to not think they were worth it until I got one student from one. You know, I spent a few $1,000s on one mailing, and that student stayed with me for 8 years. So they were a substantial income, so maybe I should have kept up with mailers, you know. It's kind of hard to tell what the lifetime value of one person's going to be. So I do track like post engagement, and I just started using pixels, so I'll probably, if we did this a year from now, I'll probably have a better idea exactly how many sales I get out of it. But I'm also doing it for retention, you know, keep students there, you know. Students, they get engaged with you, they enjoy you, they continue in my program. If they continue in the program, that's just as good as getting a new student into me. So, you know, I would say that probably between the two, it's substantially worth your time, especially since a lot of it's free. Next question.
Okay, thank you. How can I get organic leads? Whoever asked that question knows the difference between organic and inorganic, so whoever answers that question should explain the difference. Who would like to answer that question? Organic versus inorganic? John?
Are they talking about getting leads from organic
Use the mic,
search
please.
results?
Are we off topic or are we?
What's that?
Are we talking about getting leads from organic search results, or are we talking about getting leads through social media?
So I know what it means to me, but who asked that question? Raise your hand.
It was supposed to be a test question.
Oh, that's a test question.
Test question.
So to me, okay, well, it actually, I don't know if you meant it as a joke, but it actually has a meaning to me. Organic is where you get leads from social media, where you get opt-in leads, opt-in requests from social media posts and so on. And inorganic leads is where you basically scrape them from various places without permission, which is what I'm going to be talking about next month. So thanks for the test question. Okay. Is this a test question? Are there any veterans in the audience? Or is that a real question?
I asked that question because I have a veterans career fair coming up.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you're a veteran, come see me. I would love to pitch.
Are there any veterans in the audience? Raise your hand. Going once, going twice? Okay, well, thank you for your service. For Don, what is SCORE? Okay. Well, let's see, there's 2 or 3 SCORE folks here. Donna, do you want to take, 3. I mean, I'm happy to answer it. Would you like to answer it? Sure. Okay, grab a mic, please.
SCORE used to be the senior corps of retired executives, but now it is a nonprofit organization that's volunteer-based that helps mentor startup businesses or existing businesses so that they grow. Mentoring is free. They also have workshops that are either free or very low cost. And it is a national organization. Donna is with Montgomery County SCORE. Don is with Princeton SCORE, and I'm with Chester and Delaware County SCORE. But there's Philadelphia SCORE and Pottstown SCORE. Yeah, I've spoken there before. Doylestown SCORE. So it's a great organization. If you go to score.org, it's a great place to volunteer also. You make a lot of really good connections. Do you want to add on?
Grab the mic, please.
It's a great resource, and you've got a lot of people with a lot of expertise to come and help out people in their businesses. But we are always looking for volunteers. I know in Montgomery County, we're actually looking right now for people to help with public relations on getting the word out. Anybody who's writer, media, anything like that would like to get involved in the chapter. You can volunteer to mentor individual people, or you can help out with promoting the chapter and the education as well.
And John, would you like to say a few words? John was the president of SCORE Princeton.
So SCORE's mission is twofold, primarily to counsel small businesses, and it's all free, and also to educate small businesses. And different chapters have different ways of doing that. Now, in the Princeton chapter, we do about 8 seminars a month in various libraries and different facilities, and we educate people on digital marketing, on business planning, on financial planning, on QuickBooks, and a whole host of other things. So it's a great resource for small businesses, and for the most part, it's all free. So again, it's training, free training, and it's also online training that you can go through a lot of SCORE's online videos, and it's counseling, which is one-on-one counseling, and it's confidential counseling that helps a lot of people start or grow their businesses.
And just the last comment about SCORE, Beth, as a SCORE client, what was your experience?
Excuse me, yep. Awesome. I actually was recommended to SCORE from a friend who also started his own business. And he said, if you're looking for great advice that's also free since you're a startup, talk to somebody at SCORE. I met with Don and another person, and they were wonderfully helpful. I have a lot of interests and a lot of things that I really enjoy doing, and they helped me to narrow down what my business really should be focusing on, and that was the key initial step for me. Legal advice, I was so thankful for. I am an LLC and I'm a single proprietor. And so it was just a great experience. It was very, very informative. I didn't ever feel as though I didn't understand what they were saying to me or that they thought that my idea wasn't good enough. So I think it was a very, very positive experience. And I've actually recommended, as I said before, anybody who talks to me and says, hey, I think I'd like to find a score counselor, get that help that you could really use. And again, since it is free, it's fantastic. So I can't say enough good things about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, please. Sonali has to leave, so I asked her to take the mic to ask her question.
Thank you, Don. Brynne, I have a question for you. What do you have to say about LinkedIn ProFinder, which is a new tool?
Yeah. So
Thank you.
interesting. I get a lot of, so LinkedIn ProFinder, let me take the mic, I forgot, I'm sorry. So LinkedIn ProFinder is, you can be a coach or list yourself as a resource on ProFinder. And then when people are looking for your services, you'll get an email that says this person is looking for your services. You don't get their name, but you get some information. I get all my competitors. It's amusing. So for whatever it is, when my competitors are looking for services, for some reason they come in to, but they don't know that where it's going. So I have gotten one client out of ProFinder and a lot of work. I don't think it's there yet. I do think it's a huge future of LinkedIn, but I don't think ProFinder. Sign up if you are a service provider. It's really only for service providers right now. If you're a coach, you might be able to get some opportunities. I think there's a lot of potential in ProFinder, but I don't think it's ready for prime time. Considering that I get all of my, like there's something wrong with me getting my competitors, right? Like if you went out, you don't want that to happen to you. So they've got to really work through it before it works. There are a couple of other new tools for LinkedIn that are amazing, like Point Drive. So if you want to know about that, I'd be happy to share.
Does that answer your question? Okay, thanks for coming. What's the name of Thru Rigler's business? Was that a test question or is that a real question? Thru, do you want to tell us the name of your business?
Yeah. Thank you, Thru, for posting that. Infinity Digital, we're in Feasterville, and if you see me after in the solo groups, I'll be happy to give you a card. Thank you.
Are you like Shana, are you an influencer when people ask that question?
Pretzel's Infinity, that's why he likes it.
Right, Infinity. Okay, next one. How do you decide which content you should post on different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, etc.? That's a good question. Actually, Shana, I think you talk a lot about that. Tim, go ahead.
I'll just, it does depend, but I think I can kind of talk about how I use it. So how do you post on different platforms? Well, really, when you make content, you want to get the most out of the content you can. So don't be afraid to post it on Instagram, Facebook. I mean, sometimes I post stuff on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, my closed groups, and then I have other material that I might put on Instagram and say, hey, this was pretty cool. This is a student, maybe the mom wants to know, she's on my closed group. So I'll post on a closed group and say, look at how focused this kid is, or something like that. Like, look at all the focus that this student is demonstrating or something. And the parent, they see the student doing that, and they're like really excited about it. Oh, my kid's getting what they're looking for out of the program.
Tim, excuse me. I think it was a slightly different twist to the question.
Yeah.
How do you decide which content? In other words, videos versus pictures about your cat, or I'm making that up.
Yeah.
Which different kinds of content belong in which type of social media platform?
Well, see, that's the thing is, when I use for content, some things I will post just on Facebook, my business group. And a lot of times and a lot of those end up becoming boosted posts. And the main purpose of that is they're posts that are made to be more shareable. Instagram, I like to use a lot for just student pictures and stuff. It's real visual, you don't have to put a whole lot of words in there. You can put a few hashtags in there. But I like to use them a lot for, pictures of students, classes, things like that. I see down below, it also says something about stories. That's great for, program, a lot of times I'll take quick videos of a kid doing a specific kick or something really well. So YouTube, I use YouTube if it's a video that I feel is worthy of more people, the general public seeing, okay? That would be, if I'm doing, I'll do videos teaching a specific move in the martial arts, not specific to my class or program, then I would post it on YouTube because there is an opportunity of gaining revenue if you have substantial people watching that. But you don't have to be afraid to, once you post it on YouTube, to share it to your Facebook, your Instagram, and things like that. And the closed group, I do a lot of stuff on my closed group, pictures that I want to keep more private. The closed group on Facebook, I'll do a lot of live videos that I don't want the general public to see, belt ceremonies, things like that, that have a lot of kids in it and stuff like that, that I just would prefer only the parents being able to see. So those are the kind of things that you look for. You kind of have to get to know your business and then figure out where you want to put each thing.
Your audience will answer that question better than we can. So as you're putting content up there, maybe it's videos, it's pictures, it's an article, it could be a poll, it could be something funny. You have to look at your engagement on that particular platform and see if you're putting stuff out there and you're hearing crickets, you're writing articles, then write better articles or do something different. Try a video. If your videos are getting a lot of engagement, do more videos because that's what people are relating to. So you really have to look at your analytics and see what your audience is doing and let them tell you what kind of content you should post. They're the best indicators of good content for your business.
Thank you.
Yeah, going off of that, most people look at social media as a way to talk to people. It's more about listening. So if you're listening to what your audience is interested in, what they like, and what they want to hear, that's when you're going to be most successful.
If I can piggyback on that, because I think that's really important, and it's easier to do than a lot of people think. Like, well, how do I listen, right? What do I do? Well, on LinkedIn, for example, you can go to somebody's profile and look at their recent activity and look at the content they're liking, commenting on, and sharing. Look at their Facebook feed and find things that, what is of interest to them. So the best thing to do is look at what your target audience is sharing and liking and commenting on, and there's a good chance if you follow in that mindset that they're going to like yours too.
Thank you. Let's see, Marcia.
Hey, Don. Don.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Yes, John.
One more thing. I meet with a lot of clients who ask the same kind of question, and I say, don't be afraid to test something, because when you're doing social media, when you're doing advertising, if you don't have any history of doing it, you're not going to know what works and what doesn't work. People consume content in different formats. So don't be afraid to experiment to see what works. A large part of what you're going to do initially is just that. You're going to let, as other people mentioned, let your audience tell you what they like and what they don't like.
Have any of you ever done a survey of your client base to ask them which social media platform will reach them best? I mean, rather than just taking a shot at it, can you do like a more formal survey?
Potentially you can. That's a little bit more difficult. I would just say put it out there and see what kind of response you get, because you're going to get direct response from your customers.
Okay.
One more thing, if I could add that too. Everybody should be following their competition. I mean, competitive analysis is huge with digital marketing, with everything we do, regardless from SEO, PPC, whatever it is. Social media, the same thing. I follow my competition as well as my trade industry peers, the Search Engine Land, Search Engine Journal, as well as other agencies that I can see what they're doing. And if they're getting high engagement, guess what? I'm going to start doing something very similar. If they're doing video or podcasting or infographics, guess what? I'm engaging that. I'm putting that into my strategy too. So another thing is, if you're a boutique, follow boutiques. If you're a lawyer, follow other lawyers. See what they're doing. Understand and know, because most people don't know their competition, and that's a huge weakness.
Corey? And then I was going to bring up SEMrush, if that's what you're going to do.
I was actually going to say, if you do your business intelligence extremely well, you can actually pay attention to not only the price changes in your competitors' products, but you can see essentially what their inventory is. And if you get it really granular, I could essentially do their accounting for them without them actually revealing anything. So it's even things that you're putting out there that you don't necessarily realize what you're saying. So even if there's a slight price drop in a particular product category, if you have a long enough time frame that you've been watching them, that can clearly indicate, are they essentially getting like a push towards that product because they want to sell it? Are they short on their supplier? But if you have a long enough time frame to watch them, you can find out.
Okay.
I broke the mic. That was not meant to be heard.
Yeah. We might be running out of juicer. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, is the SEMrush guy here? SEMrush? I'm sorry?
Can I just piggyback on something that was said here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it could be very valuable. When you're talking about following your competitors, you can look at, go look at the content your competitors are sharing. Not only look at what they're sharing, but start following and engaging with the people that are engaging on their content, right? Like, so for example, on Twitter, if you 12 people retweeted something from your competition, go follow all 12 of those people. Because now they'll probably amplify stuff that you do, and now you get on their radar. I can't tell you how much business I've gotten because I've followed competitors, followers, and engagers. So really valuable. Just want to share that.